What's up, Tube? Welcome back to Low Guido's Chop Shop, the second best Gel Blaster channel on the tubes. Today I have some mags from LDT War Interest. I have two mags from LDT. Lately I've been noticing a trend that has been popping up from a few different companies releasing spring-based magazines. Not so much spring only, but like spring motor or spring only, or combination of all these things where a spring is utilized inside the mag to assist with feeding. And my question has always been, what's wrong with the Gen 8? Why can't we just use the Gen 8 mag? I have here one of my own personal Gen 8 mags. It's seen some use. It's pretty used, but still going. And I always sort of consider, why are these going to be better than this? And I am starting to understand. I'm starting to understand what the deal is here. Let's just start by getting into these magazines here. I've got two different types. One is this. I don't know what that style is, but it says L5 AWM on it, and then I've got this PMag style as well. PMag style. Now, worth noting also in the bag is a spring. Both of these have a spring. Now, I'll get to that later. But right now, let's just have a look at these mags. They're made of, this one here is made of the same sort of quality nylon you expect from the LDT mags that you've probably seen or used in the past. This one is a translucent Lancer Systems. Yeah, right, okay, so it's a Lancer mag. It's translucent. Now, that is going to be handy for me in this video, so you can see inside the mag what is actually going on. Now, there is one little thing that I need to mention. This is a LDT War Interest magazine, a regular one. This is the spring one. The spring one has got this additional little blob under the catch there, or the hole where the catch goes. It sticks up quite a bit, and I imagine, I don't know what receiver that's designed for, but I imagine in most cases that's just going to have to be sanded off or filed down. That is one thing that I've noticed. I'm not quite sure why that's there, why that would have been introduced, but both of them have that. Not a real big issue anyway. Get a Dremel on it, file it down. Now, if I could even just zoom in on this right now so we can get a look. Alright, so you can see there is a spring section in the bottom here, and then in the top you have the feed wheel to the T-piece up the top here. And on the other side you can see, if I flip it over, you can see the gear drive from the motor, and you can see the motor. And I mean, I've not seen this exact motor before, but it says on it, just looking at it, it looks like a much higher quality motor than what I expect to see in a Gen 8 mag, and it does say 11 volts, 11.1 volts, 26,500 RPM. So I'm taking a guess that that's probably a higher quality motor than the ones that come in a standard mag, and might even be a faster RPM. I don't know the exact specs on the standard Gen 8 mag, so I'm just gonna say it's probably a faster RPM motor. We could probably spin them up and just listen to the motor and see what they sound like, because you could probably tell a little bit of difference in the RPM from the sound. Alright, so standard Gen 8 sound and LDT spring fed sound. Well, it's hard for me to tell from the sound, to be honest, but that's a 7-volt battery, by the way, so that wouldn't have been the maximum rated RPM of this, as it is rated at 11 volts. Why would you do this? Why would you use a spring? Now, the benefits that I can see already is the feed tube. The feed tube, if you can see it, is literally from there to there. So let me get some gels and fill that feed tube up. Alright, I'm just going to hand load a few gels in here. Now, notice as well straight away, there's no stopper. These Gen 8 mags have got this button here, which controls the little stopper tab. So these don't have that at all, so I guess the theory is that there's no need to stop the gels because the feed tube is so short. Okay, so I've just filled that feed tube up. You can see there's a gel sitting right there. Now, if I empty that out, there's exactly 5 gels from the tube to the wheel. Now, if I was to do the same on a Gen 8 mag, let's see. It's going to be a lot more. And one of the things, if you've ever used a Gen 8 mag, a lot of people who are new to the hobby, they always question me about this. They're like, why can't I use, like I can see there's gels left in the mag, but I can't seem to use them. No matter if I tip the blaster upside down, I can get a few more out, but those last few I just can't seem to use. And that is, okay, there we go. Got that filled to the top. And I mean, I'm not even going to count that, but there's a lot more than 5 that live in that tube. Maybe I should count it. So we've got 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 in the tube on a standard Gen 8. Now, that might not sound like a big deal, but I know that I like to store my magazines in my rig brass down, right? Gels down. Now, if you've used a magazine, emptied it, and you've got 17 gels still free floating in the tube, and then you drop that down into your chest rig or whatever, then you're basically dropping 17 gels into your chest rig every single time. And I know that at the end of the day, I am sick of cleaning all the gels out of my chest rig. So that's, I mean, that's one minor benefit already, just off face value. The next thing is, if you've ever used a Gen 8 mag, you know that it has to be vertical. because the feed wheel is at the bottom and you're allowing gravity to feed the gels in and then to push them up the tube. So it has to be gravity fed into the wheel. Whereas this one, I'm actually going to pop it open. You're actually using the spring and a follower to push them up into that motor wheel. Now, you might say that's going to actually limit the capacity of your mag, but I'm actually going to compare full cap of a Gen 8 to full cap of one of these and see what the actual difference is, because I'm interested in that as well. But the gist that I get from these is that you collapse your spring down like so, and then on the bottom here there's actually a little lock, so you can twist it to open and twist it to lock it. So that's going to lock your spring in place. Now I imagine that you just pour gels into the bottom here. That's what I'm going to do. Just fill it with gels. Now what's interesting here is you may notice I'm actually using Spartan gels. I'm using Spartan gels. I've filled that whole mag up to this point here. Now the spring that I've got here is actually quite a firm spring, but the Spartan gels are a little bit softer. They're not your ultra hard gels. So bear with me for a sec here. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to break out the other spring. This other spring is a softer spring. So I'm actually going to take this one out and replace it with the softer spring, just for science. Because I think the idea is if you have the softer spring, you can use softer gels. Now, the spring itself is held in with little clips here, so it's not actually an easy thing to unclip. You gotta put a little bit of effort in. That one unclipped, I'll pop that. On the softer spring, and this one. I might actually employ the use of a small screwdriver to lever that out. Now, I mean, I'm just guessing at this stage that the Spartans might want to use a softer spring. They might actually be alright with the firm spring, but they might not, so I'm just erring on the side of caution here. Now this is not something that you would easily be able to do in a couple of moments at the field if you decided to swap your gels, so bear that in mind, but it is still a possibility. But I think I've got that. There we go. Alright, now I'll just make sure I have these the right way around. Yep, okay. Okay, installing it fortunately is easier. Alright, good to go. Now you may have noticed that I did fill this all the way to the brim, and that was on purpose because I feel that there's probably enough squash in the gel that I will be able to easily fit this follower in there, even when it's full to max cap. Yeah, easily. So, even though the spring occupies that much of the mag, I was still able to effectively gravity fill that entire capacity of the mag. So, initial thoughts might be, oh, you're losing that much cap for the spring mechanism. You're actually not, because on a standard Gen 8, you're gravity filling in there, so you're not actually compressing any of the gels down in there. You are just literally gravity feeding in there. But this, you can gravity fill the whole portion and put the follower in, and it will still occupy the same amount of space. Let's also release this spring there. So the spring is released and all those gels are under tension now. Now, this magazine should be able to fire sideways, forwards, backwards, upside down, left, right, doesn't matter, because gravity has no effect on this anymore, because the spring is compressing those gels into the feed wheel. Now what I want to do is feed these gels out, probably into a bucket or something. And I mean, I can do it sideways and it's not going to matter. I can do it anyway. That's gonna be good for my testing, because it's always difficult for me to test, because I want to do on camera like this where it's flat, but I'll have to hold it that way. So, all right, let's do that. Let's see how this feeds. All right, I'm gonna feed them into here. Hopefully this should catch them without losing too many. All right, let's go. Sideways feeding. I don't know. I'm sorry. I blocked the camera view for that. That was actually pretty satisfying. Look. Okay, let's try this again. All right. So there is still one or two that are at the liberty of gravity there, so you're not going to get every single one. You see those two there are just going to be there forever, but you have the same, or in fact probably worse than that when you do use a Gen 8 mag, because you have what's sitting at the bottom of the wheel plus all what's in the tube. So there's the 5 in the tube that we talk about earlier on, and then there's 2 that it didn't pick up. So all in all, that was a pretty successful feed. Now I did see, even though I used the softer spring, I did see that there was some crushing. There was a couple of crushed gels there. So there's one that was crushed, but I mean, let's be real, you almost always end up with a crushed gel. So I had 1 crushed gel and 5 that didn't feed from that lot. So, in the interest of science, I am actually going to put 6 more gels into that bucket. Alright, 6 more gels in that bucket. Now I'm going to feed that entire amount of gels into a Gen 8, because I'm curious about the cap, because if this is as I expect, This is going to be a little bit awkward, but this is as I expect. I think that I'm trying to capture this on camera so that you know there's no funny business here, so that I'm not cheating or anything. Like, I mean, ask anyone, you'll know that I'm pro Gen 8 mag. I love the Gen 8 mag. I always say that there's really no reason to upgrade to anything else, like with springs or fancy things. But I'm genuinely curious here. I do want to make this a fair comparison. I don't want anyone to think that I'm biased in any direction. Alright, I don't know if you guys can see what's happening here. Alright, let's see. I am reaching capacity of this Gen 8 mag. Oh, I dropped one. Let the record show that I dropped one gel. Alright, I'll add another here. Another gel from outside, there we go. Okay. I am at capacity of this magazine, alright? I am at the maximum cap. Cannot fit any more gels into this magazine. And I still have, in this towel, a good amount of gels. Plus there was some that fell into the bottom of the tin. So let's just remove this towel, tip them all into the tin. So the spring mag cap is actually larger, even though the spring on first appearances looks like it occupies more space. You're actually getting like a significant amount more gels in there. Alright? Now, okay, let's give this Gen 8 the benefit of the doubt and also fill the tube. So even with the tube filled to capacity, where there's one even sitting on the top there, still got more gels in the bucket, and that is full to capacity. Now, next part of the test. Let us empty this Gen 8 mag into the bucket. Alright, I'm going to put the towel back in. The towel is just to stop them from hitting the bucket and bouncing out. If you've ever done this before, you'll know that's a thing. Alright, here we go. You might notice, like, if I tip this sideways like this, you can see there's nothing coming out, no gel's feeding. I have to get at least that gravity feed like this to get the gels feeding. So already that's a better result from the spring-fed mag. Alright, I'm going to hold this as vertical as possible so that we get that gravity feeding for us. Come on, you can do it. Alright, that is it. No more are coming out. Alright, So, now let's have a look. I'm going to dump these ones into the bucket that we fed. Let's have a look on the towel. Remember we had 6 spares left over from the spring-fed mag. Alright, just going to run this just quickly. Make sure there's nothing in there. Alright, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19 gels, and I mean that kind of tracks with what we said before. The tube holds 17 and then you get like 2 or 3 caught under the wheel at the bottom. 19 gels unfed from the standard Gen 8 mag and 6 unfed from the spring mag. I think that is saying something. More reliable feeding, more capacity. That's a big one for me as well, because on face value, I wouldn't have thought this would have more cap. More reliable feeding, more capacity, and I mean the Achilles heel of the Gen 8 has always been breaking this little mag door off. This mag door just breaks off. And I mean, I haven't looked at the PMag, but I imagine that the PMag is just the exact same style of mechanism. Yep, same mechanism, just a different style of magazine. I use the Lancer mag just because of its transparency, but I do like the aesthetic of the PMag. It's got the clear window in it so you can sort of see in it, but it does have the same system inside where it uses the spring. I am surprised and impressed by these LDT spring-fed magazines. That's a result I didn't expect to see. So bigger cap, more reliable feeding, arguably faster feeding. That's I don't have any metrics on that yet, but I mean, just from the time it took me to empty this mag versus the time it took to empty the Gen 8, and Gen 8's probably the most reliable mag on the market, let's be real. So these spring-fed mags, yeah, I'm surprised. Also, another side benefit, not having that button opens up some possibilities with compatibility with certain other blasters that have issues with mag catches and stuff like that. So that's an interesting feature too. You can use these in blasters where you don't have to have that pushed down, which is a thing. If you know, you know. I'm happy and impressed with this. I'm going to put a link to where you can get these in the description. These guys come from TL Toys, and I'm going to put a link down in the description to TL Toys so you can get some of these. There's probably other places where you can grab them as well, but these ones I got from TL Toys, so I'll put a link down there. That is all for me. I'm pretty impressed. If there's any other tests that you guys want me to do on these mags, then leave a comment. Tell me what you want to see. But I like this. I like the idea that it's got a softer spring for the softer gels, and obviously for your hardened ultra hards, your gladiators and ultras and all that sort of stuff. You've got a stiff spring for feeding them. Good stuff. You got multiple spring options. I like that. Yeah, all round, I'm surprised and impressed. I wasn't expecting them to be this good. But that's all for me today. Don't forget, you can hit me up on Facebook for a patch. or you could use the link below to support my channel by buying me a coffee. Shout outs to those people who have bought me coffee. Shout outs to Adam Hoy. Shout outs to W. Kent. Thanks for buying me a coffee. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Hey guys, I'm close to, I think, 24k subscribers, so I'd really like to hit that milestone. Hit subscribe for me, please. Costs you nothing, and it just, I don't know, gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.